You turn around, well, I want you to see, this is a city website. And the first time you'll not see anything about elections. They never put on there about elections. They don't put on there right now, it's the time to get on the ballot. It's not on there. Michelle Duke's in charge of community engagement and news. She won't tell you about elections. Nothing about it, okay? You gotta know to go to, departments, then city secretary, and then look down and see elections buried in there. That's shameful. Okay, let's get this one up. Not much time, 3 minutes. Okay, get this one up right quick. Let's follow the money trail. That's what this one's about. Oh, you gotta narrow it down there for me. Will you fix that? Whatever. Because what it's saying here is the money trail. We, the people, pay the police to protect us. Okay? The police pay the POA millions of dollars in POA dues. And then the POA turns around and buys candidates. Come on down a little bit lower, and you'll be able to see Gina Bivens, Mayor Mattie Parker. They get hundreds of thousands of dollars. So the money starts off in the taxpayer, goes to the police, to the POA, and right back to them. Our money. That's what they run on. We got to stop this. That's shameful. I want to show you something else here. Oh, one other thing. Gina Bivens uses the police to remove people from meetings. They use the police to remove me. And it's not investigated, but they're not going to do anything about it. But she does. I dare her to come on my show and defend herself. She can't do that. Okay, let's go with another one here. Let me get this one up. Well, I don't lose some weight when I was running back and forth, I hope. Okay, I did this 2 weeks ago. I put this up. Said I'd give $1,000 to St. Jude's Children's Hospital. Okay, I'll do that without a heartbeat. If these two, Mayor Mattie Parker, who wants to be mayor again, and pro temp mayor Gina Bivens, who wants to be your council member again, if they'll answer a question. That is the premise of the job, to answer questions. I'm willing to pay $1,000 to get them to answer one question. It's on here, you go back and look at it. Question is, why did you remove our public presentation from the city council agenda? You know what's the difference between Fort Worth and Richland Hills, Austin, and Denton, Texas? You can speak at city council meetings there. You don't at Fort Worth. They think they're better than us. They have put us down lower and them on a pedestal. We're not good enough to be at council meetings and speak there. We're not on the agenda no more. And they'll lie and say, oh yeah, you can speak. It's not true. We're not on the agenda. You ought to be ashamed of yourself.
Good afternoon, Council, and happy Black History Month. It's been said that we can't get reparations on a federal level due to lack of nationality. You see, Black is a color, and most of us actually weren't born in Africa to be considered African American. But luckily, Congress already has something on the table, just not on the floor, called H.R. 40. But I am here for a more local solution. Because what I don't understand is how we can be first in a nation to be committed to mining Bitcoin, but not 12th in line to be committed to issuing reparations to the Black community. You can walk in as many parades as you want, but I know optics when I see them. So if you want to say that you're not your ancestors, prove it. If you want to pretend that you run an inclusive administration, prove it. If you want to portray that your racist hometown that still holds KKK meetings to this day didn't have an effect on you, prove it. Because there is a moral debt that needs to be paid. About a year ago, you participated in a panel and mentioned, and I quote, "Not talking about it isn't the answer." Now, I'm not sure if you were referring back to your friend that's a part of a KKK family or racism itself. But you are absolutely right, Parker. Not talking about it isn't the answer. But just talking about it isn't the answer either. Now, I don't have time with the 3 minutes that I've been given to break down how to fit this into your budget. But let's move forward on what reparations could, should, and would look like. We're in Fort Worth, where the West begins. So I was thinking that we could recreate the original Homestead Act that gave away free land in the West to citizens right before my people were deemed worthy enough to become citizens. No? What about making Black residents tax exempt? Now, seeing as though we represent the lesser population of the city, it shouldn't be a problem. Or what about education? She seems to be a great advocate for that. 2-year, 4-year, masters? No. Well, what about calling up Granger to tell her about HR 40? It's too much. Tell Jean I said good night.
Adrian Devon Smith, let the words of my mouth, the meditations of my heart be acceptable in thy sight, O Lord, my strength and my redeemer. Greetings all. First, I stand here to offer my prayers and condolences and thoughts with the people of Syria and Turkey who are currently in the midst of the aftermath of massive earthquakes which have shaken and just brought their countries to a standstill. We know that war and just a broken government and just the desire to destroy lives has pretty much made this situation even worse, you know. So, and we are in the dead of winter, so people are currently, as they go through the recovery process now, which they don't have the infrastructure or the necessary equipment to do what we could do here in the event of a massive earthquake. They are basically dependent on their neighbors, you know, hands, you know, physical labor, you know. They are concerned about their people. So I just say, let's stand. It's my prayer and my condolences to those people who are dealing with this. And then let's not forget about the what comes after when the earthquakes happen, the tremors or the aftermath, the aftershocks, this, that, or the other. So they're still in the midst of that as well. So I stand with you to the people of Syria and Turkey. Now to what I'm really up here for. I'm a frequent viewer of the Tarrant County Medical Examiner's webpage where you can see the causes of death for individuals, and I do it often, you know, see the causes of death for individuals or people having to research individuals to see what the causes of death are. But I stand up here because I have seen an alarming number of our elderly citizens who have transpired. 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. I mean, this is week after week. I'm seeing elderly people, names are being presented on this Tarrant County Medical Examiner's report. A lot don't have causes of death. So I'm assuming there's a backlog, but I truly believe, and I'm not here to, I don't believe in provoking fear, but just thought for dialogue and conversation. I'm hoping that the COVID vaccinations are not the cause of all these deaths, because it is very alarming to have all these elderly people passing at this rate. And if you're interested, by all means, check it out. Thank you. Love the shirt, George.
My name is George Childs. I live in Fort Worth. In 1989, I was convicted of the next thing to a felony because of perjury on the part of then Fort Worth police officer Stephen Burrow Carpenter and police booster Buddy Lee Woody. This engendered a somewhat more than casual interest in the subjects of cameras and civil review. As to cameras, that's a done deal, dude. The only question about them now is that if police act the way they do while being recorded, how much worse did they act before? As to civil review, I felt a short-lived glimmer of hope about a couple of years ago. Finding out why it was short-lived led me to police unions, and that inevitably led me to Ronald G. Delord, who virtually invented police unions as they exist today. On January 24th, I felt a very strong glimmer, if that's not a contradiction in terms, even allowing for wishful thinking. I believe I heard some speakers come right to the brink with suggesting that all they would need to reject a candidate for city council out of hand was if they were supported by a police union. It is to those that I now speak. It is essential to understand that much of the support of police unions by ordinary voters is based on two undeniable facts. The first is that police protect lives and property to some extent, to some degree. The second is that police unions protect police. This is all that many people want to hear on the subject because it is so clear-cut. This is true of many mindsets that ignore regrettable facets of human nature. This wall is far from unassailable. When seeking ammunition, look first to the other side. Ronald G. Delord has co-authored 3 books teeming with expressions of contempt for many facets of democracy. The first is close to being a collector's item, with the second and third are not expensive, especially if the cost is shared. Quoting statements of them to candidates at forums and other position statements will vividly illustrate just what they are approving of when they accept POA support. And it's not just the books. My favorite of Mr. Delord saying elected officials are wildebeests who will get the message if the Union cheetah strikes one of them down came off the internet. Try both Ron Delord and Ronald G. Delord, attorney at law. I'm saying this now because being 80 years old, I've been statistically dead for over 2 years. The chances are steadily declining that I'll be around for the next election or when Mr. Delord brings his band of wandering minstrels to town for the next meet and capitulate. To those that have seen the truth, spread it. I implore you, spread it.